So the civil lawsuit against Jay-Z doesn't seem so black and white anymore because a judge recently scolded Jay-Z's attorneys in court and denied their request to have the alleged victim's name be revealed.
As the judge in the Jay-Z Diddy case, Judge Torres has just humiliated Jay-Z in court. Humiliated Jay-Z in court. And get this, he actually had bars.
You should always advocate for yourself and be a voice for yourself. You should never let what somebody else did ruin or run your life.
In a high-profile case of music icon Jay-Z that has captured the attention of both the media and the public, U.S. District Judge Analisa Torres has made it clear that she will not tolerate aggressive tactics or inflammatory behavior in her courtroom. This case involves allegations against Shawn "Jay-Z" Carter, filed by a woman who claims she was harmed during an incident when she was 13 years old. The judge's recent decision to allow the accuser to remain anonymous has sparked significant discussion, as has her sharp critique of Carter's legal counsel, Spiro.
It looks like Jay-Z experienced a legal loss in regards to this lawsuit where this woman claims that he and Shawn Diddy Combs AR'd her at a MTV after party back in 2000. Not only that, the judge in this case also scolded Jay-Z's legal team, Spiro, for their multiple combative motions. So one of the requests that Jay-Z's legal team had was that the woman that is Jane Doe in this lawsuit be revealed. Well, on Thursday, Judge Analisa Torres ruled that the woman can proceed anonymously in the case according to court documents obtained by Rolling Stone.
But legally, because the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Eric Adams case called out Spiro for trying to adjudicate cases in the court of public opinion by making it seem like the feds don't have any evidence, this is a setup, and going hard. I said, okay, fine. But Judge Torres, and we got the full legal docs, has utterly destroyed Jay-Z.
Now this morning, a judge is denying Jay-Z's lawyer's request to identify the accuser in a Jane Doe's lawsuit. Jay-Z, whose real name is Shawn Carter, denies those claims. He alleges she was 13 years old when the rapper and Shawn Diddy Combs her during the VMA's after party back in 2000. The lawsuit was filed in October and Carter's name was added to the complaint on December 8th. Both Carter and Combs have denied the woman's claims, and while the case will move forward anonymously, the victim there could always revisit that decision later on.
Judge Torres emphasized the importance of a fair and deliberate legal process, highlighting the inappropriate conduct of Spiro. Despite being involved in the case for a short time, Spiro has already filed numerous motions and letters seeking to challenge the plaintiff's claims and her attorney, Tony Buzbee. His filings, described as combative and filled with personal attacks, have been labeled by the judge as a waste of judicial resources.
The judge noted that, quote, the weight of the factors such as, quote, highly sensitive and extremely personal nature of the claim tips in favor of allowing the plaintiff to remain anonymous, at least for this stage of the litigation. Still, Judge Torres noted that she will revisit the decision as the case progresses. The judge wasn't done. She took aim at Jay-Z's attorneys, stating that the relentless violence of combative motions containing inflammatory language and some of the attacks on Tony Buzbee, she deems inappropriate, a waste of judicial resources, and a tactic unlikely to benefit his client, meaning Jay-Z. Jay-Z's attorneys also wanted to expedite the dismissal of this case and have a hearing immediately.
The judge writing in a 5-page brief that the Carter's lawyer's relentless filing of combative motions containing inflammatory language and ad hominem attacks is inappropriate, a waste of judicial resources, and a tactic unlikely to benefit his client. The court will not fast-track the judicial process merely because the counsel demands it. This latest legal twist coming after the recently filed civil lawsuit by Jane Doe, claiming that Jay-Z, whose real name is Shawn Carter, and P. Diddy, 13-year-old girl at an after-party after the MTV Music Awards in 2000 while an unnamed celebrity watched. Jay-Z has vehemently denied all the allegations, putting out this statement 2 weeks ago, writing in part, "This is a blackmail attempt."
The central issue at this stage of the lawsuit is whether the plaintiff, referred to as Jane Doe, should be allowed to maintain her anonymity. Judge Torres ruled that the woman had provided compelling evidence justifying her request, given the sensitive nature of the allegations and the potential harm that could arise if her identity were revealed prematurely. The judge also noted that public interest in the case does not outweigh the plaintiff's right to privacy, especially in the early stages of the litigation.
And a federal judge has ruled the woman alleging she was by Jay-Z and Shawn Diddy Combs can remain anonymous. The woman says both men raped her at a party when she was 13 years old. Jay-Z's legal team had fought to get the case dismissed, arguing his accuser should have to reveal her name, but the judge disagreed. ABC's Morgan Norwood has the latest.
A legal victory for the woman who is suing Jay-Z for allegedly raping her when she was 13. A federal judge ruling the woman can proceed with the case while remaining anonymous, at least for now. But the judge also chastising the lawyers representing Jay-Z, accusing them of trying to fast-track the judicial process by repeatedly filing motions to reveal the identity of the Jane Doe to have the case dismissed.
This decision underscores a broader trend in the legal system to protect the identities of individuals bringing forward sensitive claims. Anonymity can encourage victims to seek justice without fear of public scrutiny, particularly in cases involving high-profile defendants with significant influence and resources.
Sometimes, and I'm not saying it's factually relevant here, but it could be. But sometimes individuals will file a lawsuit like this, and I'm sure B. Diddy was a jerk like he is to everybody else. We saw him live in living color during the making of the band. We know how he can be. Yeah. And he knew he was on TV doing that.
The allegations against Jay-Z, which were added to a broader lawsuit against Shawn Diddy Combs, paint a disturbing picture. Jane Doe alleges that she was taken to a location and harmed by both men, with claims of being intoxicated prior to the incident. While the legal proceedings are in their infancy, these allegations have reignited conversations about accountability and power dynamics in the entertainment industry.
Now attorney Tony Buzbee, after some legal back and forth with a demand letter and dueling lawsuits, says celebrity A is Jay-Z, whose legal name is Shawn Carter. The suit begins. Defendant Shawn Combs, aka P. Diddy, aka Puff Daddy, aka Diddy, aka PD, aka Love, along with his longtime friend and collaborator Shawn Carter, aka Jay-Z, raped a 13-year-old girl at an after-party following the 2000 Video Music Awards. Another celebrity stood by and watched as Combs and Carter took turns assaulting the minor. Many others were present at the after-party, but did nothing to stop the assault. Combs has been allowed for years to conduct himself in this manner without any consequences.
The anonymous accuser alleging the assault occurred after she was driven to an after-party following the MTV Video Music Awards. The suit says she was offered a drink that made her feel, quote, woozy, lightheaded, and felt like she needed to lie down. Shortly after, the suit claims Jay-Z and Diddy entered the room where she was resting, eventually sexually assaulting her. And now, just in the last hour, we are hearing from Jay-Z and his team of lawyers. They are denying the claim and say that they are the victims of blackmail, saying, quote, I will not give you one red penny, and my only heartbreak is for my family.
Jay-Z has strongly denied the accusations and has criticized Tony Buzbee, the plaintiff's lawyer, for what his team describes as unethical behavior. Buzbee, however, has remained steadfast in his representation of Jane Doe and other alleged victims. In response to the aggressive tactics employed by Spiro and others, Buzbee has refrained from engaging in public feuds, focusing instead on the legal process.
Take a listen to what Jay-Z had to say, because he released a statement after the filing of this lawsuit, and it reads in part, quote, my lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Buzbee. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir, it had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case.
Last month, a lawsuit was filed against Buzbee by an anonymous celebrity who claimed Buzbee was trying to extort money from them. Buzbee fired back with this statement on X last night, naming Jay-Z as the anonymous celebrity who sued his firm, and he also says Jay-Z has tried to bully and harass him and this plaintiff, and his conduct has had the opposite impact. He goes on to say, she is emboldened, and I'm very proud of her resolve.
Tony Buzbee, the attorney representing Jane Doe, has found himself at the center of a legal and media storm. Known for his high-profile cases, Buzbee has been accused by opposing counsel of using publicity stunts to sway public opinion. However, his supporters argue that his tenacity and commitment to his clients make him a formidable advocate.
This whole lawsuit is significant for several reasons. First of all, this lawsuit was filed by Tony Buzbee. This is that Texas attorney who claims to represent over 100 alleged victims of Shawn Combs, and he indicated in the past that he would name names. And there was reporting, particularly by TMZ, that high-profile people had reached out to him to settle claims so that they wouldn't be listed in lawsuits. They wouldn't be named in lawsuits.
The day will come when we will name names other than Shawn Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you.
Tony Buzbee has faced scrutiny for his handling of the case. Jay-Z had previously filed a lawsuit against Buzbee, claiming that he tried to force a settlement by threatening to reveal the allegations publicly. However, Buzbee has denied these allegations, stating that his only goal was to seek a private resolution through mediation.
A lot of people allowed it to go on, said nothing, didn't intervene, maybe benefited from it, profited from it. All of these individuals and entities, in my view, have exposure here.
He's actually sent demand letters saying this is what we know you're involved in. He's saying involved in the sense that even if they didn't drug somebody or participate in that, he feels like they're liable to a point where they should pay up.
We saw the latest development yesterday that Jay-Z's lawyer wants the woman who accused him of to reveal her identity. What does the law say when you have a minor? This woman was when she was a minor, age 13. Now, all these years later, can they force the woman to reveal her identity?
Yeah, it's an open question. Different jurisdictions take a different approach to this question. We've seen several high-profile celebrities go into court and ask a judge to force a plaintiff, a victim, an alleged victim of reveal herself.
Now, he, of course, is more than annoyed, would be an understatement.
Yeah.
He has a family and he has a lot to protect, including his brand. But to the extent that he's saying, hey, come after me criminally, that could be likely. Why do I say that? Because in New York, and what's alleged in this complaint is forcible compulsion. What that means in English is that it's saying that he held her down, her, and that, of course, the allegation is that Mr. Combs did the same thing. And so if those facts are actually accurate, it would require an investigation by prosecutors, and if true, right, you could pursue it criminally.
Buzbee, known for representing numerous clients in high-profile misconduct cases, including those against NFL quarterback Deshaun Watson, maintains that his clients' claims are credible, despite the acknowledged inconsistencies. He stated, "Courts exist to resolve factual disputes. Our client remains adamant about her claim."
A male celebrity who remains anonymous is suing the Houston attorney who's representing several people in lawsuits against Shawn Diddy Combs. The lawsuit accuses Tony Buzbee and his firm of shamelessly attempting to extort exorbitant sums from him or else publicly filed wildly false, horrific allegations against him. Now, on Instagram, Buzbee denied the claims against him, saying that his firm won't allow the powerful and their high-dollar lawyers to intimidate or silence survivors.
Tony Buzbee is responding and basically saying that Jay-Z was the high-profile celebrity that was recently suing him. So Tony Buzbee says this in a statement regarding the Jay-Z case and his efforts to silence my clients. Mr. Carter previously denied being the one who sued me and my firm. He filed this frivolous case using a pseudonym. What he fails to say in his recent statement is my firm sent his lawyer a demand letter on behalf of an alleged victim, and that victim never demanded a penny from him. Instead, she only sought a confidential mediation.
Federal authorities are preparing for a significant expansion of the case against Diddy, as they now estimate that as many as 120 additional victims may come forward with testimonies.
There's new allegations against Shawn P. Diddy Combs. A Texas attorney says he now represents, get this, 120 alleged victims, male and female, adults and children, whose allegations span more than 30 years. The accounts of the alleged victims have not been fully vetted, but their claims involve similar to what the feds described in their criminal indictment of the music mogul. Diddy's currently sitting in a federal jail awaiting trial on conspiracy charges. He pleaded not guilty to all charges.
Attorney Tony Buzbee has disclosed that 25 underage victims have filed individual lawsuits against Diddy, each alleging various forms of misconduct. According to Buzbee, these cases are not part of a single class action suit, but rather separate individual filings, emphasizing the personal nature of each victim's experiences and claims.
When you talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of. The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way till this year, 2024. If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years.
Jay-Z's attorney, Spiro, has been vocal in challenging the credibility of the allegations. He described the accuser's story as provably, demonstrably false, citing the aforementioned inconsistencies and emphasizing the lack of corroborative evidence. Spiro stated, "It's not just that this story is a lie and that it's not true, it's provably, demonstrably false. This never happened."
This woman is standing by her story. It happened over 20 years ago. Maybe her memory is hazy. Maybe her father doesn't remember that night.
No, she's doubled down on certain of these details. She says, I'm positive. She points out the tattoo. She talks about the tattoo in vivid detail. Turns out that's completely false. And the father is supposed to be picking her up. 10-hour drive, round trip to pick her up in the middle of the night. Has no memory of that. No one has come forward about this in nearly a quarter of a century, and that's because this never happened.
Shawn Carter, Jay-Z has good reason to ask for this case to be dismissed. The accuser came out and did an interview. Now, we didn't get to see her face. We didn't get to learn her name. But in the interview, she gave some statements that were inconsistent with the statements or the accusations, I should say, that are made in her lawsuit. And it does raise serious questions about the credibility of this accuser.
Adding more fuel to the fire, the accuser admitted to certain discrepancies in her account in a recent interview. She acknowledged errors in identifying the location of the alleged misconduct and the individuals present. For instance, she initially stated that members of the band Good Charlotte were witnesses. However, it was later revealed that they were on tour in the Midwest at the time and not present at the 2000 MTV VMAs.
During the NBC interview, she says that she spoke with musician Benji Madden and his brother Joel at the after party. Benji is married to actress Cameron Diaz.
I'm talking to Benji Madden about his tattoo that's the Last Supper because I have a religious background, so it was just something to talk about.
But in a statement, the Madden brothers say they did not attend the 2000 VMAs. Inside Edition found this document establishing that on September 7th, 2000, the night of the VMAs, The Maddens were giving a concert at the Vic Theater in Chicago.
Additionally, the accuser's father, whom she claimed had driven 5 hours to pick her up from New York City after the incident, does not recall making such a trip. Furthermore, permits and photographs from that night indicate there was no jumbotron outside the VMAs, contradicting her statement about watching the event from outside the venue.
The woman also claims after the alleged assault, she ran to a gas station and called her father, who drove 5 hours from Rochester, New York, to pick her up and return home. But NBC says when they contacted her father, he says he can't recall the incident. I feel like I would remember that, and I don't. I have a lot going on, but I mean, that's something that would definitely stick in my mind. The woman filing the lawsuit against Jay-Z says it is possible that her father doesn't remember, but she stands by her story.
One of the things that stood out to me, Phil, was her father. Her father was also contacted by the news media because in her interview, she says her dad picked her up from Shawn Diddy Combs' home after the rape, she said, that occurred after, she said, Jay-Z and Shawn Combs raped her. Her dad said he had no recollection of this incident. And clearly a dad, as he said, would remember something this serious, this egregious. So I think there are some serious questions that need to be answered. And the way you get those questions answered when you are a defendant in a lawsuit is by filing the kind of motion that I anticipate we'll see filed by Jay-Z's law firm, because there are questions about the credibility of this accuser.
Do you think the legal tactics used by both sides are justified, or is this a matter of crossing the line? Drop your comments below and join the conversation.